5, 14, 21. You heard what I had to say. This is that Nasdaq 100 chart for the bulls, and what a nice reversal. This was a doji yesterday, called a daily doji, and they're always confirmed with the gap up or they gap below it. It's either or. There's no in really in the middle to confirm it now. Now that we're back above the 100-day simple moving average and the market is going on, we're exactly 55 minutes to the closing bell on a Friday options expiration, and that it is. Remember that the 10-day is still crossed over the 20, and we are at a major wall of resistance, a 50-day. The good news is it started with a gap on an options expiration Friday. How about that, everybody? Isn't that nice? And when you're looking at the market and where it was and where the risk was, it's always good to get confirmation and not getting walloped again with the gap down with that doji. So, as you get the confirmation of a trend reversal, remember the daily sell signal is still minus 87, which is deep, but it was minus 110 yesterday. And now that we're only minus 87, that's when the turn starts. So take the 110 minus 87, just round off the number, and that will be your points. That is how you start the turn. And no matter what, resistance on the way up will be resistance. It always has been that way. And the other thing is that the 50 is still trailing above the 100-day moving average, and that's not bearish. No, it's just that these turns on the daily sell signal have to keep going up in value to confirm it, and then getting above the key 50-day moving average and taking out this big bar right there that was on 510, and the high was 13,648, and the low that day was 13,358. So the thing about it is, up in this area would be the 20-day moving average. That's that purple line on the chart, right where my trend line is, right there. And that would be the next target once we can clear that. But just remember what I said. This part still has to keep working, and this number has to contract. Okay? So as it does that, then the upside gets that much more strength and momentum behind the move, basically. So when you're trading options, and they did the gap on options expiration Friday, so people that were short the market, they got screwed this morning when they gapped it up, and then they ran it up. And one thing about it is, on the Nasdaq Composite, that's going to look about the same. And remember, this is live right now in the market hours, and that sell signal is minus 88. The previous day was minus 112. So subtract 112 minus 88, and that's going to be your number, and that's going to be your turning number, and that number, is your number. And when these numbers shrink in value, then this move will be stronger. Once again, that is the Nasdaq Composite relative to where the big tech growth and the hyperinflation that everyone's worried about is that we were oversold right over here. And I had pointed this out in the other videos, and we were. And that was this number. It was 3.114 on the stochastic percent K. And then next day, narrow range, you didn't break and close below that low here, and then it's confirmed with the gap. And as a market strategist, sometimes it's best to let the market prove itself, let it show itself, because that is the beginning of a trend that could be changing from this particular sell off that really started back over here on 5-3 at 13,784. That's where you got your bigger part of the breakdown, and you had a little volatility. But see what happened with the gap into resistance here. Bam. Today's gap, though, is a healthy one right now. This is that daily bar. So once again, it's our pleasure to bring that, and it's trying to get above that 50-day simple moving average as we speak, and it's testing that 10-day moving average. And remember that the 10-day had declined below the 20-day simple moving average. And when that happens, that's also part of where the 10-day has to stop going down in value, but rather gets flat. And but getting above these two moving averages where we sold below it, we broke it, and we broke that 50-day right here and that 100, and boy, it was a clean break too on that downside. So now we're working it off, everybody. Have a good options Friday, every Friday, but confirmation is the rule, and getting the confirmation of a directional movement is always the wisest thing to do, because now the money is coming for the bulls.